Dear cadets, Assalamu alaikum. Welcome you all at my online class. This is Maqsudur Rahman, lecturer in chemistry, Borishal Cadet College, Borishal. It is very necessary to keep yourself inside home along with your family members for avoiding the running pandemic COVID-19. Considering prevailing situation, Borishal Cadet College is providing necessary academic guidelines and short lecture on specific link periodically. With this continuation, I am here for your online class. So you can see a periodic table designed at Mexican University. By seeing this picture, I think you understand today's topic. Yes. Today I discuss on periodic properties of elements and chemical bond. This is my second session for class 11. At the end of this lesson, you will be able to define atomic radius. You can describe the change of atomic radius within period and group. You can also describe the change of ionization energy within period and group. You can describe the change of electron affinity within period and group. And you can describe the change of electronegativity within period and group. And lastly, you can analyze the irregularities of ionization energy and electron affinity in period. So now, first one is, what is periodic properties? Periodic properties in chemistry means that if elements are arranged in an order, the properties of elements would repeat after some period. So properties are repeated in periodic table. So the periodic properties of elements are atomic radius, ionization energy, electron affinity, and electronegativity. And in my lecture, I describe all these four things today. Now, first one, atomic radius. Atomic radius is the distance from the center of the nucleus to the outermost shell containing electrons. So, in other words, we can say that it is a distance from the center of the nucleus to the point to the which the density of electron cloud is maximum. There are three types of atomic radius. By three ways we can find out the atomic radius. First one is covalent radius, van der Waals radius, and metallic radius. First one is covalent radius. Covalent radius is 1/2 of the distance between the nuclei of two covalently bonded atoms of the same element in a molecule. You can see the figure. You can see one atom and here is another atom. These two atoms covalently bonded with each other. So what is covalent ratio? The covalent ratio is 1/2 of the distance between these two covalently bonded atoms that are bonded in the molecule. So radius of covalent bond equal to 1/2 of the internuclear distance between two bonded atoms. And the internuclear distance between two bonded atoms is known as bond length. So we can say that covalent bond or radius of covalent bond equal to 1/2 of the bond length. And it is measured by picometer. And 1 picometer, we know that 1 picometer equal to 10 to the power minus 12 meter. So if we give an example, the internuclear distance between two hydrogen atoms in hydrogen molecule is 74 picometer. So what is the ratio of one hydrogen atom, atomic radius of one hydrogen atom? And it is 74 divided by 2 equal to 37. So we can say that the atomic radius of one hydrogen atom is 37. How we find it? We divide the bond length of hydrogen molecule by 2. Then we get the amount of atomic radius of one hydrogen atom. So we can say that atomic radius of covalently bonded atom is 1/2 of the bond length. Now, in case of van der Waals radius, So it is 1/2 of the distance between the nucleus of two identical non-bonded isolated atom. Here you give an attention that non-bonded isolated atoms or two adjacent identical atoms belonging to two neighboring molecules of an element in the solid state. This is very important. Van der Waals radius is calculated in solid state, and it is also like covalent radius, that is half of the distance between nucleus of the two non-bonded isolated atoms. And here important thing is that in this case substance should be in solid state. For example, the internuclear distance between two adjacent chlorine atoms of the two neighboring molecule in the solid state is 360 pm or picometer. So what will be the atomic radius of one atom? Yes, it is half of this 360 picometer, and that is 180 picometer. So we can say that the Van der Waals radius of chlorine is, one chlorine atom is 180 picometer. Now, in case of metallic radius, you know that a metal lattice or crystal consists of positive kernel or metal ions arranged in a definite pattern in a sea of mobile valence electron. And each kernel is simultaneously attracted by number of mobile electrons, and each mobile electron is attracted by a number of metal ion. So what will be the metallic radius? It is also 1/2 of internuclear distance between two adjacent metal ions in the metallic lattice. So we can find in case of covalent radius, in case of Van der Waals radius, and in case of metallic radius, all are half of the internuclear distance between two adjacent atoms. If it is covalent, then it is internuclear, half of the internucleus between atoms between in a molecule. If it is metallic radius, it is also 1/2 of the internuclear distance between two adjacent metal ions. And if it is Van der Waals radius, it is 1/2 of the distance between two covalently bonded atoms in its solid state. So now, periodic trend of atomic radius. Here I set an example: lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon. All these four elements are present in a period. By seeing this picture, you can see that from left to right, if we go left to right in a periodic table, the atomic radius decreases. The atomic radius generally decreases from left to right in a period, because within a period with increasing atomic number of radius, you can see that here the atomic number is 3, and in case of beryllium atomic number is 4, in case of boron atomic number 5, in case of carbon atomic number 6. So with the increase of atomic number, electron number also increases. Here atomic number is 3, that means there are 3 proton and 3 electron. And in case of beryllium, there are 4 proton and 4 electrons surrounding it. In case of boron, there are 5 proton, or its atomic number is 5, and it has 5 electron that is surrounded around nucleus. And in case of carbon, its atomic number is 6 and number of electron is also 6. So we can see that when we go from left to right in a periodic table, with the increase of atomic number, electrons number also increases. That's why attraction between the central atom and outermost electron increases. That's why electrons gradually pulls closer to the nucleus due to the increase the force of attraction between positive nucleus and negative electrons. So the size decreases when we go from left to right. So you can say that in period atomic radius decreases if we go left to right. Now, group trend of atomic radius. In group, the atomic radius generally increases. You can see here, I set an example of group 1A. There are atoms lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium and cesium. Here you can see that The atomic radius of lithium is, atomic number of lithium is 3, and there are 3 electrons. And in case of sodium, atomic number of sodium is 11. There are 11 electrons. And red mark is valence electron. In case of potassium, its atomic number is 19. So there are 19 electrons and 1 is valence electron. Red mark 1 is valence electron. So as the atomic number increases down a group, the number of electrons also increases. And here you can notice that there is 2 energy shell. In case of sodium, there is 3 energy shell, and in case of potassium, there is 4 energy shell. So if we go from top to bottom, with the increase of atomic number, we find out the increase of electron number as well as increase of energy shell. That's why the outermost attraction between positive nucleus and electrons decreases. That's why its atomic radius increases when we go from top to bottom. So we can say that in group, atomic radius decreases when we go top to bottom. Here you can see that if we go from left to right, this atomic radius decreases. And if we go from top to bottom, atomic radius increases. So from left to right, atomic radius decreases, and if we go from top to bottom, atomic radius increases. Now, in case of ion, what will be the size of ions? Cations are smaller than their parent atoms. We know that there are 2 types of ion. One is cation, another one is anion. So cations are smaller than their parent atom. Why? Because when 1 electron is removed from the parent atom, we get cations. So as outermost electron is removed, its energy shell decreases. That's why its size decreases. So in case of anion, here you can say that how anion forms: when electrons are added to neutral atoms, results anions. So anions are larger than their parent atom because electrons are added with parent atom. When electrons added, sometimes it may result new energy shell or not, or maybe not. But as new energy shells are added, the attraction between positive charge at the center and electrons decreases. That's why the atomic radius increases in case of anions. Now, ionization energy. The ionization energy is the amount of energy required to remove 1 mole of electron from 1 mole isolated atom. What do we mean by isolated atom? Isolated atom means 1 electron from 1 atom. So, ionization energy is the amount of energy required to remove 1 mole of electron from 1 mole of isolated atom and produce 1 mole positive ion at the gaseous state is called ionization energy. I think it is clear to you. I repeat it again. When 1 mole electron is removed from 1 mole isolated atom and form 1 mole positive ion at the gaseous state is called ionization energy. Here you can see that negative electrons cannot leave the atom unless energy is supplied to overcome their attraction to the nucleus. So here you can see that these electrons are attracted by protons. So if no energy, this electron will not leave this atom. Now in that case, if we give energy, this energy kicks an electron out of the atom. So it becomes positive charge. So here you can see that when we give energy, we get positive ion, and this as 1 electron is removed, the amount of energy we get is called first ionization energy. So what is fast ionization energy? The amount of energy needed to remove the first electron from its outermost shell of neutral atom is called fast ionization energy. So some atoms, there are 2 valence electron. So if first electron is removed, it is called, when first electron is removed, it is called fast ionization energy. And if second electron is removed, it is called second ionization energy. And the energy that is required for second ionization energy must be greater than the first ionization energy. And this trend continue because the energy needed to remove a third electron is greater than the second ionization energy. So now ionization energy trend in case of group. In period, if we go in a group, ionization energy decreases within a group. In case of group, ionization energy decreases because ionization energy increases as we go across a period. If we go across a period, ionization energy increases. And in case of noble gas, you can see that this is the noble gas. In case of noble gas, ionization energy has highest value. And in case of alkali, this is alkali, it has lowest ionization energy. So ionization energy changes in groups. Here I set an example of first group, that is alkali. Ionization energy decreases when we go top to bottom. Why? Moving down a group, the principal energy shell increases. Here you can see that with the increase of atomic number, its atomic number is 3, its atomic number is 11, its atomic number is 19. When you go from top to bottom, with the increase of atomic number, the electron number also increases, and also increase of atomic new addition of energy shell. That's why these electrons providing inner shell shielding of the nucleus. That's why this valence electron can easily removed. As the size of this electron, size of the atom increases, the bond between outermost electron to the nucleus is loose in case of bigger atom. So this electron is loosely bonded with nucleus compared to the sodium. That's why this electron is easily removed. That's why if we go from top to bottom, the outermost electron can easily removed. As one electron is removed from this neutral atom, we can say this is ionization energy. So if we go from top to bottom, as electrons are loosely bonded with the nucleus, so this electron can easily remove, so ionization energy decreases down a group. Here you can see the ionization energy between lithium and potassium. Now ionization energy in period. Here you can see that from left to right, atomic radius decreases as increase with the atomic number, electrons number also increases. Due to increasing of atomic number, atomic radius decreases. As atomic radius decreases, the outermost electrons are tightly bounded with nucleus. That's why electrons cannot remove easily. So we can say in case of period, as from left to right, atomic radius decreases, valence electrons are tightly bonded with nucleus. That's why it is very difficult to remove an electron from the outermost shell. That's why from left to right, the ionization energy increases. Here you can see the example that from left to right, the atomic ionization energy increases. Now in case of noble gas, you can see in case of noble gas, the atomic radius also increases from top to top to bottom. And as these are noble gas, that means its outermost electrons are full filled. In case of neon, outermost electron is 8. In case of krypton, outermost electron is 8. And in case of radon, outermost electron is. As outermost electrons are full filled, so it is very difficult to remove outermost electron. That's why ionization energy of noble gases is very high. Now, irregularities of ionization of energy. Ionization energy does not always increase across period. We know that ionization energy increases when we go from left to right. So, ionization energy of boron must be greater than beryllium, but ionization energy of beryllium is greater than boron. So, why? Because beryllium, its atomic number is 4, its electronic configuration helium 2s2, and in case of boron, its atomic number is 5. So, its atomic electronic configuration is helium 2s2 and 2p1. You can see that in case of beryllium, there is 2 electron in 2s orbital, and in boron there is 1 electron in p orbital. And it is very difficult to remove an electron from full filled orbital. As you see that s orbital is full filled, so it is very difficult to remove 1 electron from beryllium, but it is easy to remove 1 electron from 2p orbital. That's why ionization energy of boron is less than beryllium. And in case of oxygen and nitrogen, here you can see that from left to right, we know that ionization energy increases. So, ionization energy of oxygen must be greater than nitrogen, but ionization energy of oxygen is less than nitrogen. Why? Here you can see that atomic number of nitrogen is 7 and atomic number of oxygen is 8. If we write down the electronic configuration of nitrogen, it is helium 2s2 and 2p3, and in case of oxygen, it is helium 2s2 and 2p4. And in case of nitrogen, you can see that p orbital is half filled, and in case of oxygen, it is not half filled, it is partially filled or not full filled. That's why it is very easy to remove 1 electron from 2p orbital of oxygen, but it is very difficult to remove 1 electron from 2p orbital of nitrogen because it is half filled. So, the ionization energy of nitrogen is greater than oxygen. So, here you can see that ionization energy of helium, if we go across a period, ionization energy increases. Here is the irregularities. Ionization energy of oxygen is less than nitrogen. And in case of P group, we can see that ionization energy decreases. And in case of noble gas, you can also see that ionization energy decreases when we go from top to bottom. Now, electron affinity. What is electron affinity? The electron affinity is the amount of energy released when 1 mole of electron add to the outermost shell and producing 1 mole negative ion. We know that when 1 electron enters to a neutral atom, it becomes negatively charged. So, when 1 mole electron add to the outermost shell and producing 1 mole negative ion at the gaseous state is called electron affinity. Here you can see that when 1 electron is added with neutral chlorine, it becomes negatively charged chlorine atom, that means chloride ion. So, this amount of energy needed to add this electron to the chlorine atom is called electron affinity. Now, electron affinity trend in group. You can see that electron affinity decreases when we go from top to bottom. Why electronegativity decreases? When moving down a group, number of shell increases. You can see that there is 2 shell. In case of sodium, there is 3 energy shell, and in case of potassium, there are 4 energy shell. So, atomic radius increases. As atomic radius increases, the bonded between the central nucleus to the electrons are loosely bonded with the central nucleus. So, this electron, as these electrons are loosely bounded, so one electron can easily enter into the atoms. So we can say that when we go from top to bottom, the electron, as the size of the atom increases, the force of attraction between nucleus over electrons gradually decreases. That means less electron affinity. So we can say that if we go from top to bottom, electron affinity decreases. And in case of period, here I set an example. You can see that in case of period, atomic radius decreases. As atomic radius decreases, the distance between the valence electron and nucleus decreases. As it is decreases, the electron affinity increases, because the positive nucleus and negative electrons, attraction of positive nucleus and negative electron increases as its size decreases. That's why high electron affinity results. So if we go from left to right, electron affinity increases as size decreases. Now, irregularities of electron affinity. Position of fluorine, though higher than chlorine in periodic table. We know that if we go from top to bottom, electron affinity decreases, or we can say that if we go bottom to top, electron affinity increases. So electron affinity of fluorine must be greater than chlorine, but the actual order is reverse. Why? Because fluorine, its atomic number is 9, so its electronic configuration is 1s2, 2s2 and 2p5, and in case of chlorine, its atomic number is 17. So its electronic configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2 and 3p5. So its atomic size of fluorine is very small and atomic radius of fluorine is greater than fluorine. So size of fluorine is less than chlorine. So when additional electron is added to 2p orbital of fluorine, the electron density increases, which produce a strong electron-electron repulsion. But in case of chlorine, as its size is greater than fluorine and one electron is entered in 2p orbital of chlorine atom, the charge density is less, increases due to its big size. That's why one electron can easily accepted by chlorine, but it is slightly difficult for accept one electron by fluorine atom. That's why electron affinity of fluorine is lower than chlorine. Now, electronegativity. Electronegativity of an element is the tendency of its atom to attract the shared pair of electrons towards itself in a covalent bond. Here you can see that cesium, it has low electronegativity, and in case of fluorine, it has high electronegativity. That's why this fluorine pulls the bonded electrons towards it. That's why it is partially negative and cesium becomes partially positive. So electronegativity results the polar of the molecule. But in case of fluorine molecule, you can see that the electronegativity difference between fluorine to fluorine atom is same electronegativity. That's why it is non-polar. So what is electronegativity? It is the tendency of an atom to attract the shared paired electron toward itself. In this case, you can see that the electronegativity of fluorine is greater than cesium. That's why it pulls electron from cesium and fluorine bonds and it becomes partially negative. Now, electronegativity generally decreases down a group and increases across a period. How can this trend be explained? We can explain this because the attraction between the outermost electron and the nucleus increases in a period, because we know that in period atomic radius decreases. As atomic radius decreases, the attraction force between electron and nucleus increases. That's why electronegativity also increases. But in case of group, electronegativity decreases because atomic radius also decreases or increases. As atomic radius increases, the attraction force between the central positive charge ion and electrons decreases. That's why electronegativity also decreases. So we can say that electronegativity decreases down a group and increases across a period due to its atomic size. In figure you can see that when you go from top to bottom, that means in period, in group, it is decreasing. Electronegativity decreases. You can see this electronegativity trend very clearly. From top to bottom it is decreases. But in case of period, electronegativity increases. Electronegativity increases from left to right in a period. And noble gas have zero electronegativity. Why zero electronegativity of noble gas? Because its outermost electronic configuration is fulfilled. Except helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon all have 8 electron in its outermost shell. That's why as its outermost electronic configuration is fulfilled, it has zero electronegativity. So if we summarize, atomic radius increases in a period, in a group, at atomic radius decreases when we go right to left, or we can say that if we go left to right, it is decreases. In case of ionization energy, it is increases from left to right and also increases from bottom to top. And in case of electron affinity, from left to right it is increases, and in case of period, in case of group, it is increases when we go bottom to top. So today we learned about periodic properties of elements and change of periodic properties of elements in group and period. So if you have any query, please write it in comment box. I will try to make it clear to you. And you have an home task. First question is, what is electronegativity? Ionization energy of boron is lower than beryllium. Why? Why is second ionization energy higher? Explain it. Electronegativity of fluorine is lower than chlorine. Why? Question number 5. Is sulfur or oxygen more electronegative? Analyze it. And 6. Which is more electronegative, carbon or chlorine? Analyze it. So thank you very much for your participation. I want to say you that you must stay at home. You must wash your hands regularly, maintain social distance, make your family member conscious about novel coronavirus COVID-19, and make your lesson properly and make the best use of your time. Thank you very much.